And there's pushback. Oh, Flat Stanley. I brought him to the legislative hearing because my cousin needed a Flat Stanley picture. Like I said, it was a short session in 2008, so the group that was working on getting this passed had to work very fast. They had to have all their ducks in a row, all their contacts in a row, and their lobby group folks ready to go and talk in an educated fashion about what needed to happen. We knew that there were troubled budget prospects. The governor had said she wasn't putting any new funding toward anything really that year. And all the legislators wanted to know, how will this help my district? We grow lentils. Are lentils included? Yes. I mean, like, basically we knew, we knew, or Mo knew, what was happening all around the state and who was likely to have what kind of questions, and she had the answers in her pocket, ready to go. And then there was some concern from the national processing organizations about fresh food versus preserved foods and processed foods. And like I said, they talked to Mo and some legislators about the problem, but they did not testify against it. And we had some smaller ones who were extremely supportive of this bill. So it was just an example of kind of knowing what pushback there would be. But also in Washington, while we have a year-round growing season, we can't really supply lots of food in the winter. And we knew that processed food was actually going to play a real positive role in this. And then no money for studies. That's partly why the feasibility study got cut. And also I think because it wasn't pushed particularly hard and there wasn't a fiscal note attached to that was in detail to prove how the money was going to be used successfully. So, in closing, a lot of words up there, sorry about that. I think some of the biggest things that helped get this to work and to be as effective as I hope it's going to be were that the real barriers were known because the conversations had been happening, the work had been happening on the ground. People had tried things and talked to each other about, why isn't this happening for you? So there was a pretty big body of knowledge about what needed to be fixed. And then we were lucky enough that the environmental groups actually brought it to us. I don't think the people working on farm to school in our state would have felt ready to go change policy this year. But they came to us, and I think we're extremely lucky to have that. And they really knew how to push a bill through. They knew how to bring people to the table to create something that was feasible, and we loved them. And then they were able to build, beyond just their environmental group, a really broad coalition with a lot of kinds of people, with a lot of different priorities, but all of whom could be brought together over at least some of the issues in this bill. And then I think that they and the media really emphasized the crossover appeal of those issues, bringing together some groups. I don't know how much you know about Washington State, but we have big urban dense Seattle and West Side, and much less dense rural parts on the eastern side of the state. And really often people feel like the folks in the western part of the state are driving policy without understanding the needs of rural communities. And I feel like this one took everyone into account, and that Mo and her group of supporters were able to articulate that really well. So the agricultural, the environment, conservative, liberal, east, west, urban, rural, all of those groups came together in a way that I like to think will lead forward into the future on this and other issues.